everyone, I'm Connor and welcome to my channel, The Closet. Today I'm doing another driving vlog and I'm going to be talking about why I don't shop in Hermes anymore. I still obviously will purchase things from Hermes, but in terms of the journey with Hermes or all of that stuff, I don't do that anymore. I don't engage in that. I'm not interested in that. And basically, there is a good reason. Now, this video is just my experience, my opinion, and what I got from Hermes. Obviously, everybody has a different story. Everyone has a different experience, whether it be positive or negative. And this obviously is not a pity party. To be honest, I don't really give a shit anymore. This is just something that had happened. And because I get asked a lot, you know, what's on my Hermes wish list? What do I want from the store? Blah, blah, blah. I always just say I don't shop in the store. People obviously ask why, and I could never be bothered explaining the whole story, so I'm just going to do this video to kind of give my side and my context as to why I don't shop in there. Now, in 2020, obviously, you know, the world went into lockdown, and Australia, for example, we shut our borders to the whole world, and only, you know, citizens could go in Australia. Like, no one could come in. And even in the state of Queensland that I live in, we couldn't even get interstate travel coming in. So the only people who were shopping in these boutiques were locals. Now, there's two Hermes stores in Queensland. There's one in Brisbane where I live, and then there is one at Pacific Fair, which is on the Gold Coast. It's about a 50-minute drive from my house. Now, I happened to be down at the Gold Coast one day, and I went into Hermes and I kind of started talking with this sales associate. She'd worked there for ages, and we kind of just had a good relationship, or like a good, you know, hit of the personalities, I should say. And she said to me, you know, if there's anything you're looking for, let me know. And, you know, a few weeks passed by and there was a few little items that I kind of wanted to get. And I went back down to that store, and, you know, we kind of just hit it off. Then as time kept kind of going through, I had friends or other clients with my business, Conrad's Closet, who kind of wanted things from Hermes, but they couldn't get them. Hermes wasn't even doing distance sales at that point. So the only way that you could get items from Hermes is if you physically had walked into the store and purchased them. And for example, there's no Hermes in Adelaide, no Hermes in Perth. And I had clients that wanted stuff, and they were like, if you happen to be going to Hermes, can you ask for it and get it? So I was doing, obviously, shopping for myself, and then I was doing shopping for other people, but I had purchased quite a significant amount of items in, you know, a 3 or 4 month period of time. And, you know, there was no tourism or anything like that. So that boutique really, you know, wanted the business. They weren't getting sales from people. And of course, there's locals on the Gold Coast who spend big money, of course, and there's people who had, you know, high discretionary incomes and they weren't spending it on travel or anything like that. So the store wasn't a charity, don't get me wrong, but they were still valuing all of the business that they were getting. Now, you know, obviously when you have a sales associate at Hermes, they ask, you know, what kind of things do you like, what colors, and blah, blah, blah. So one day I went in there and the sales associate said, Connor, I've got a bag. Do you want to take a look at it? And I was like, sure. And it wasn't a Birkin Kelly or Constance or anything like that. It was just a Pinkerton 18. And she asked if I'd wanted it because it was in Blue de Nord, which is like a, you know, a sky blue or a bit darker than a sky blue with gold hardware. And I didn't want to say no, because if any of you have shopped in Hermes, you know, it's hard to say no when they offer you a bag. But I said to her, yeah, sure, I'll take it. I had no intention of keeping this bag. I mean, it's a bucket bag Pinkerton, like I would never use that, but I didn't want to say no. And because it was in blue, she kind of put it aside for me. And the box was actually in the plastic still, so it hadn't been offered to anyone else. She'd opened the plastic in front of me. So I said, yeah, sure. Paid for the bag. And when I got home, I thought I'm just going to list it on one of the Facebook groups, because, you know, maybe somebody else was looking for that. So I listed the bag at retail, and, you know, I was not trying to make money on that bag or anything like that. I just wanted to sell it and pass it on. Anyways, a few more weeks passed by, and I think it was the Chinese Autumn Festival, and I saw that lots of people were getting the Chinese New Year gift, which was like a light or a lamp or something. I can't remember what it was. And I asked my sales associate if I could get that gift. And she said, I'll have to check with the store manager, and I'll get back to you. So she called me a few days later and she said that I've asked the store manager. She said it is strictly reserved for Chinese clients only. To me, that just didn't really sit right with me, because I don't know what the difference is between any client. If they're a client of the store, they're a client of the store. Just like when Louis Vuitton do Christmas packaging, that's not limited to Christian or Catholic denominations. It's for everyone, because in Australia we celebrate all different cultures, we celebrate all different traditions of all different nationalities, and that's what makes our country such a beautiful country, because we are such a melting pot of different cultures and we embrace everyone's culture. And I just assumed that these Chinese New Year gifts were not limited to only people of Chinese descent. So when she said that, I was like, okay. But I said, that's a bit strange. Like what's the justification behind that? What's the reasoning? And she said, look, I don't know. And it wasn't the SA's fault. I can genuinely tell she'd asked the store manager, and that's what her response was. So I was just taken aback. I don't know what happened after that point, but all of a sudden I got an email from Hermes head office in Sydney, which was a cease and desist letter telling me that I had breached their terms of sale by reselling one of their items on a Facebook group. Now, someone obviously had screenshot the listing of the Pinkerton bag that I'd sold, which was retail price. I was not selling it to profit or make money or take advantage of the system of Hermes. I didn't list it on my Conrad's Closet business page. It was listed from my personal account, and somebody had screenshot it and sent it to Hermes. In my opinion, they were retaliating from me questioning why I was not getting a Chinese New Year gift. And they were retaliating by sending me this cease and desist saying that I'd breached their terms of sale. In their terms of sale, it prohibits reselling, it prohibits profiting off the business, all of these things, which is fine. They're a business, they're allowed to have terms and conditions, and they can basically put whatever they like in there. I had breached their terms and conditions by reselling an item. Legally, the item is mine. Legally, I can do whatever I like with it and sell it. However, they can legally tell me that I cannot be a client of them because I am breaching their terms of sale, which is fine. I was furious that they were retaliating in such a childish manner instead of just addressing the issue properly. And I felt furious because there was that at that point in time when I was shopping in the boutique, people weren't shopping there. They were not getting their normal trade. And I think the sales associate said to me, that store operates at 60% tourism. So they were only getting 40% of the normal revenue that they would normally get. So I was just taken aback that they would send me a cease and desist over something like this in pure retaliation. Now, I'm not having a pity party. There are huge problems in the world, especially today. So I honestly am not saying poor me, they sent me a letter, but this is why I don't shop in the store anymore, because they act like children. They send letters over nothing and they just do whatever they like. They change the goalposts, they run whatever race they want to race, and I couldn't be bothered. Like, who could be bothered shopping in a store when you've got to do all the work? Not me. So that's why I don't shop in the store anymore. And of course, when there's items like my belt and bracelets and things like that, when I just want the one-off, I will gladly go into Hermes and purchase it. But in terms of building up a history and having a sales associate, forget it. Like, I could not be bothered. And, you know, that's just what I want to do. Everyone's had their own experience with Hermes, but I feel like what they did was just literally pathetic. Absolutely pathetic. And why waste an email sending a cease and desist over something so petty? So, yeah. But anyways, I'll leave it at that. And, you know, if you guys have had similar experiences or whatever, let me know in the comments below. But this is not a bashing video. This is not a pity video. This is just the shit that happened. And if any of you want to know why I don't shop in Hermes, this is why.